everyone, I am Vishali Kikan and we are discussing the redox processes. Today we are going to start our discussion with an example which states calculate delta G for the reaction ZnS plus 2Ag positive aqueous gives Zn 2 positive aqueous plus 2Ags. So here we have the various standard electrode potentials that we know. The standard electrode potential for Zn2 positive to Zn is minus 0.76 volt and that for Ag positive to Ag is plus 0.80 volt. Now we have to find out the standard electrode potential for the cell. So how I can find out it? By now taking this in the reverse direction, because here I have Zn to Zn2 positive conversion and this is the electrode potential for Zn2 positive to Zn conversion. So I can take reverse of it and for that I will change the sign over here. So here I will be having the electrode potential for Zn to Zn2 positive to be plus 0.76 volt. So now here E cell would be plus 0.76 volt plus 0.80 volt. This is taken as it is because Ag positive is converting into Ag and that the same electrode potential is given. Ag positive conversion to Ag electrode potential is 0.80. So the overall electrode potential of the cell is 1.56 volt. Now if I observe the half reactions, half equations is ZnS gives Zn2 positive aqueous plus 2 electron and for Ag we have 2Ag positive aqueous plus 2 electron gives 2Ag, right? So here to balance the number of electron I have taken the coefficient 2 in this reaction, right? So 2 electrons are transferred from zinc to silver and I can state that the number of electrons are 2. You can see the number of electrons here is 2 and here also it is 2. So to find out delta G, I have the formula minus NFE. So minus N, I have calculated N to be 2, minus 2 into F is 96500 and E I have already calculated 1.56. So now the delta G comes out to be equal to minus 301,000 joule per mole and generally the delta G is stated in the kilojoule per mole, so it is represented as minus 301 kilojoule per mole. Now based upon the E cell and the delta G value we can state the reaction would be spontaneous or not. So E cell is positive, delta G is negative, the reaction would be spontaneous. Here also you can see E cell is positive, delta G is negative, this reaction would be spontaneous. If E cell is negative, delta G is positive, then the reaction is non-spontaneous. If both of them are 0, then the reaction would be at equilibrium. Now coming to the next topic, which is the effect of the concentration of electrolyte on the products at the electrode. So what is the effect when I have the different concentration of the electrolyte? So here I am taking the solution of sodium chloride, which is the electrolyte, right? So here I have seen that the species that are oxidized at the anode are Cl negative chloride ion and the H2O. If I observe the reaction, so O2 in gaseous form plus 4H positive in aqueous plus 4 electron is in equilibrium with 2 H2O with the standard electrode potential to be plus 1.23 volt, right? Cl2 plus 2 electron is in equilibrium with 2 Cl negative aqueous which is having E value to be equal to 1.36 volt. So now here if I talk about the oxidation reaction, so for that we have to reverse these two reactions to find out the oxidation reactions. So 2H2O liquid is giving me O2 gas plus 4H positive aqueous plus 4 electron and E oxidation, it would be the negative sign of this because I have reversed this equation. So E oxidation would be minus 1.23 volt and 2 Cl negative aqueous gives Cl2 gas plus 2 electron and E oxidation is minus 1.36. So if I compare both of them, E oxidation of H2O to give oxygen plus 4H positive, its value is more positive. You can see over here. So there would be slightly more probability to oxidize H2O to form oxygen than to oxidize chloride ion to form chlorine. So this reaction will be more probable rather than this reaction. So NaCl solution of low concentration, if I am talking about the solution of low concentration on the process of electrolysis, the major product that is formed is oxygen at the anode, whereas at the higher concentration of NaCl, the major product that is formed is chlorine. Okay, so now here I hope you understood the difference. If I have a solution of low concentration and if I have a solution of high concentration, where the difference comes. Coming to the next part, which is electrolysis of the copper to sulfate solution. using the copper electrodes. So here if I see the positive electrode, which is the anode, it is becoming smaller and smaller. If I see the negative electrode, which is the cathode, it is becoming coated with a brown colored material, which is the copper. So the negative electrode is the cathode, which is coated, which is becoming thicker and thicker. But whereas if I see the solution remains same in color. So why it happens, let's understand the various reactions. Reaction at the anode would be the oxidation. So two reactions are possible at the anode. First is copper in solid is giving me Cu2 positive plus 2 electron, or 2H2O in liquid gives oxygen gas plus 4H positive plus 4 electrons. So here if I observe the E of oxidation, it is minus 0.34 volt for the conversion of copper to positive, and E oxidation would be minus 1.23 for the conversion of H2O to O2 and 4H positive, right? So now if I observe these two, here I can say that the standard electrode potential for the conversion of copper to positive is more positive, right? So if I observe it, the E oxidation of copper is more positive, which states oxidation of copper is more favorable than the oxidation of water, right? So copper ion will pass into the solution from anode and oxygen is not produced. If I see just the anode, I have observed that which one is the favorable equation, this one is the favorable equation, and the copper ions will pass, and the second equation will not be happening. So oxidation of the copper at the anode was not possible when inert electrodes were used. When the platinum electrodes were used, so at that time oxidation of copper at the anode was not possible. So now if I summarize it, if I have electrodes, the positive electrode, that is my anode, and the negative electrode, the cathode. So at the positive electrode, what will happen? Copper ion will pass into the solution. Copper ion from the positive electrode will move towards the solution, and the half equation is copper from solid it is converted into Cu2 positive, which is the copper ion in the solution. So at the cathode, the copper are the product. So copper in the solid is the product. So at the cathode, what will happen? Cu2 positive aqueous plus 2 electron will give copper in solid. So the net process is the transfer of the copper from anode to cathode. So you can observe it. Here the copper is converting into the copper ion in the solution, and here the copper ion will be converting into the copper in solid form, right, at the cathode. So if one copper 2 positive is removed at the cathode, from the anode one copper ion is added at the cathode. So from here the copper ion is moving towards the cathode. But if I see the solution, the number of copper ion in the solution remains same. So this is the reason the color of the solution was not changing. Coming to the question, it states the solution of copper to sulfate is electrolyzed using the platinum electrode if 0.636 gram of copper is produced at the cathode. Calculate the volume of oxygen measured at standard temperature and pressure produced at the anode. So if I know the amount of the copper in mass, so I know the mass of the copper, that is 0.636 gram. Now I can find out the number of moles. So given mass upon the molar mass is the number of moles. So 0.636 upon 63.55 is the number of moles, which is 0.0100 moles of the copper that we have. So if I observe the half equation, so Cu2 positive aqueous plus 2 electron gives Cus, right? So the copper ions which are in aqueous, they are going to convert into the copper in solid state. So here from this equation you can see 2 mole of electrons are required to form 1 mole of copper, right? Here the coefficient is 1, here the coefficient is 1, and here the coefficient is 2. So 2 mole of electrons are required to form 1 mole of copper. So at the cathode, what will happen? 0.0200 mole of electron are required to produce 0.0100 mole of copper. Now if I observe the anode half equation, so it would be 2H2OL gives O2 in gaseous form plus 4H positive in aqueous form plus 4 electron. So from here I can observe that 4 mole of electrons are produced for 1 mole of oxygen produced, right? If I observe the 1 mole of oxygen, we will be having 4 mole of electrons. I know how many moles of electrons I will be having, 0.0200 mole. How many mole of oxygen would be produced? 1 upon 4 times of this, so 0.0200 divided by 4, so that is 5 into 10 raised to power minus 3 moles. So now I know the volume of 1 mole at standard temperature and pressure, so I can find out the volume of 5 into 10 raised to power minus 3 mole at the standard temperature and pressure, which is the number of moles divided by the molar volume. The molar volume is 22.7 and the number of moles is 5 into 10 raised to power minus 3. So the volume of O2 at the standard temperature and pressure would be 0.114 a decimeter cube. I hope you understood this. Coming to the next question, which states two electrolytic cells are connected in series as shown in the diagram. The first contain 1 mole per decimeter cube sodium chloride solution and the second contain 1 mole per decimeter cube copper 2 sulfate solution. Platinum electrodes are used throughout. Compare the volume of each one of the gases produced and the volume of the gases produced in each cell. So now if I see the half equation and the product forms that are at the electrode, first of all, if I see the NaCl, so for NaCl we have two equations at the anode and the cathode. So at the anode the half equation is 2Cl negative aqueous gives Cl2 gas plus 2 electron. At the cathode the half equation is 2H2O liquid plus 2 electron gives H2O gas plus 2OH negative aqueous. For CuSO4 the half equations at the anode is 2H2O liquid plus is giving me O2 gas plus 4H positive plus 4 electron. At the cathode the equation becomes Cu2 positive aqueous plus 2 electron gives Cu in solid. So now if I am observing from these four equations, if I am observing only those equations which is involving the gases, right? So now here after that what we are doing, we are balancing the number of electrons. So the equation here, this equation I am multiplying this equation with 2, so this equation becomes 4Cl negative aqueous gives 2Cl2 gaseous form plus 4 electron, right? This equation it is also multiplied with 2 and now it becomes 4H2O liquid plus 4 electron gives 2H2 gas plus 4OH negative aqueous. Now this equation is taken as it is, right? So this equation is 2H2O liquid gives O2 gas plus 4H positive aqueous plus 4 electron. So now if I observe this equation, what is produced over here? Chlorine gas is produced. If I observe this equation, what is produced over here? Hydrogen gas is produced. If I observe this equation, the oxygen gas is produced. So here we have three equations where we are having three gases that are produced. Now if I observe these, the volume of chlorine and hydrogen produced would be same. So here if you see both of the coefficients are 2 whereas the coefficient of O2 is 1. Right, so the volume of chlorine and H2 produced would be same because the same number of moles of chlorine and H2 would be produced, whereas the volume of oxygen produced is half of the volume of the Cl2 and H2 produced. So 1 mole of O2 will be producing 2 mole of H2 and 2 mole of Cl2. So if I am producing 1 mole of oxygen at the same time 2 mole of hydrogen and 2 mole of chlorine are produced. Now if I observe the volume of gas in the first cell, you can see here we have H2 and Cl2, right? So it is 4 times the volume of gas in the second cell, which is just having the oxygen, right? So I hope you understood all of the things that I have discussed in this video. Thank you so much.